All right, so we're at 7 o'clock. We're going to start the meeting. We're going to start the meeting of June 1st for the Revere Conservation Commission. First item on the agenda is roll call.
Light up.
Member Vince Luria.
Yep.
Member Ann Raponi.
Here.
Member James Sorboni.
Here.
And I'm Andrew DeSantis, Chair. Absent is Member Joseph Lavalle and Member Nick Malason. Member Ann Raponi, you said you'd like to say a few words about Member Joe Lavalle?
Yes, I would. Member Joe Lavalle hasn't been up to par for a few weeks now. He's scheduled to have surgery, and on behalf of the committee, I'd like to wish him well. I hope that everything works out with the surgery, and he'll be soon back up and around and joining us in the very near future. Good luck, Joe. Hope you get better soon.
Good luck, Joe. Thanks, Ann.
You're welcome.
Okay. The next item on the agenda is approval of the minutes of May 4th, 2016. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
All those in favor? Next item on the agenda is a public meeting, a request for determination of applicability, vegetation management, Keolis Commuter Services, Purple Line right-of-way. Please take the mic and introduce yourself.
Good evening. Kyle Fair from Fair Dermody representing Keolis.
Please explain what the RDA is for.
The RDA is to continue vegetation management along the right-of-way in Revere. It's actually something I'm sure the commission is very familiar with. I think I can remember at least Andy, and I believe I remember Ann.
Speaking to the mic, please.
And what we've got in front of you is the delineation that we've been using over the past few years. We've gone out and verified that the delineation has again remained the same. Do the members have copies of the filing?
Yes, yes. It was sent out to them several months ago
so
when we first had that.
You've all seen the maps, and you've seen them before, some of you, if not all of you. We're basically back to renew the delineation so we can continue the maintenance, the vegetation control, the herbicide application, everything along the right-of-way. What we've got basically from south to north is down as you enter into Revere from Chelsea, you have a no spray zone, a yellow zone there in order to indicate the sensitive area around the inlet there from the harbor. You also have the associated 400-foot sensitive area, the blue zone that you see just south of the number 6 or the milepost 6 on the map. Beyond that, you've got a significant area, nearly a mile of undelineated upland area. It's actually more urban than it is anything else. Beyond that, right around number 7, milepost 7, you have a sensitive area, excuse me, and that's because there is a rather large drainage ditch on the west side of the track, roughly 20-25 feet from our proposed activity. What delineates something as a sensitive area, a yellow no spray, is if anything falls within 10 feet of our proposed spray pattern. That spray pattern is 10 feet either side of center line. So as we cross over the harbor coming from, or the inlet from the harbor coming from Chelsea into Revere, obviously we're directly over water, so we don't spray. Anything that is outside of the 10-foot buffer we provide to our work, we designate as a sensitive area. Those blue areas restrict us in chemical, restrict us in time, or number of applications, excuse me, per year to 1, and it restricts us to pattern. The pattern I described, the 10-foot either side of center line, the 20-foot swath of the right-of-way that we apply to. Just north of that, we have, again, a very large sensitive area. That's for all the salt marshes that the right-of-way runs through. And then as you approach the Saugus town line, there's a very large causeway. I'm sure you've all seen it. You've all probably ridden the train a number of times. Because the water on either side is within that 10-foot buffer we're required to keep from the sensitive area, it is a yellow no spray zone. That is the basic explanation for the delineation itself. I figure I'll just open it up to questions at this point and we'll move from there.
Thank you, Mr. Fair. Anybody have any questions for Mr. Fair?
Yeah, I don't see where the ACEC is identified on this plan.
The what now?
The ACEC for
Area critical environmental concern?
the Rumney Marsh and Saugus River, isn't there one in that vicinity?
Well, we delineate a little differently than what you normally would see from the Wetlands Protection Act and anyone filing directly under that. We follow a set of regulations called the Rights of Way
Speaking to the mic, Mr. Fair, please. Thank you.
We follow a set of regulations called the Rights of Way Management Regulations, and they require us to protect individual areas a little differently when we do the delineation. Rather than individually identifying and marking the edge of every wetland or sensitive area, we mark the large zones because we use these maps to indicate to our applicators.
Yeah, I understand that. But an ACEC is a very large zone.
Okay.
So I'm not sure why it's not delineated on this plan. I understand you're spraying within your right-of-way, but I'm just curious as to why it's not delineated on this plan.
Where is it supposed to be?
The Rumney Marsh.
The marsh at the north end of the,
It's a very large area.
is that the yellow area that's on the map at the north end?
I'm not sure because it's not delineated on the map.
Right, like I said, we don't delineate the edges of it. We go out and physically measure where we find in the field those setbacks to be. So rather than necessarily go out and delineate each individual or show each individual wetland on the map, we show the zones that we've protected for it.
Everything surrounding the Pines and Saugus Rivers are ACEC area.
Okay.
I'm not sure about the area south of that, south of Revere Street, where the Eastern County ditch is. Nothing on the Chelsea River is ACEC. So it's really the area from the developed area all the way to the Pines River
Okay.
is
And-
ACEC.
Right, and
on
that is
both sides of the tracks for
Right,
the
and
most
that is,
part.
right, that's designated as sensitive under this delineation, and we've gone out and measured to make sure that there are no water or wetlands within 10 feet of where our pattern will affect. So basically, like I said, the blue is our delineation for this ACEC area, requiring a sensitive application in material, a once every year application, and restricting us to the ballasted portion of the track.
Any further questions? What is the will of the commission on this request? I suggest that a negative determination be issued as an area that's described in the request is subject to protection under the Act, since the work described therein meets the requirements for the following exemption as specified in the Act and the regulations. No notice of intent is required. Massachusetts Code of Regulation 310 CNR 10.03, subsection C, paragraph B, and 310 CMR 10.58, subsection 6, paragraph A. Do I have a motion?
I'll motion for a negative determination.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor? Any opposed? Voted. Thank you. I'll get this sent to you as soon as I copy it. Yes, to your office, Cal. Next item on the agenda is a public meeting, request for determination of applicability, repair of retaining wall, 35 Pines Road, Kenneth and Bebe Wunderlich. Ms. Wunderlich?
Good evening, yes. I'm
Yeah,
Bebe
just bring
Wunderlich.
it down to a little bit and speak into it, and just describe, state who you are, where you live, and describe what you're
I live at, I'm Bebe
need to do.
Wunderlich. I live at 35 Pines Road. What we're asking is a determination of applicability in order to do some repair work on a retaining wall.
Thanks, Jim. And would you describe what the work, or would you just like me to read what, okay,
Please.
I will do that.
Thank you.
Yes, the Wunderlichs hired LEC, Mr. Stam Humphreys, a senior coastal geologist, to prepare the request for determination of applicability. And there's a section of wall at the end of the landscaping of their property that it's a concrete block masonry unit wall that's failed in one corner. So the plan is to remove the deteriorated blocks in mortar and reconstruct it with cast-in-place cement concrete.
Correct. Thank you.
And I don't believe there'll be any significant disturbance to anything but the wall itself.
That's it.
From what was shown with the plans and details. Anything further from Mrs. Wunderlich? Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by member Vince Loria. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by member James Raponi. All those in favor? Any opposed? Voted. We'll get this signed tonight, then I'll have to make copies, and I'll send it to your home.
Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen.
Okay, thank
And
you.
Good night. Thank you.
So that was a negative determination. Work described, but will not alter the, will not require an NOI. Next item on the agenda is a vote certificate of compliance for DEP file number 0610539, 1300 North Shore Road, MBTA parking garage. Rick, introduce yourself, please.
Good evening, Rick Latini with Howard Stein Hudson. I was the civil engineer for the project when Suffolk Construction built the north parking lot there and the garage that's up there now. This is a long time coming, actually. The project was completed in 2012, and then I think Suffolk just neglected to do the certificate of compliance, but now what happened is Waterfront Square is being developed, and people are looking to close the loop and get the certificate of compliance. Back in October, I think it was, of 2010, we did have a notice of project change when Suffolk took over the project as a design build, and that was approved here. And we had Feldman do a survey on the site as well as an elevation certificate because in the floodplain. And so I reviewed the as-built as well as walked the site, and everything looked per plans, except I think I had 3 exceptions. They were minor. Actually, one of the ones was a benefit as they lowered some of the grades a little bit, so it actually gave you more flood storage in case of a storm. There was one existing catch basin that didn't show up in the original survey, but it's actually, they just raised it to grade, so that wasn't on my design plans, but it's out there, and I don't think there's a problem. And the last one was they changed the water quality unit they used. I had specified aboard Technics, and they ended up using a CDS, but the manufacturer sent me calculations and backup information that it removed 80% of the total suspended solid. So those are the 3 exceptions to what was designed and what's out there today.
Any questions from Mr. Lantini? Do I have a motion? To issue a COC?
Yeah, I'll motion to issue a COC.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
It's Vincent? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Voted in the affirmative.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rick. Vincent. Last item on the agenda is I've asked Mr. Coloroso, the owner of 188 Pearl Ave, and Mr. Patty, the owner of 182 Pearl Ave, to come before the commission because I had received a complaint that work was being done. Yeah, why don't you both come up? Just press the button, make sure the green light's on.
My name's Michael Colarusso. I live at 182 Pearl Ave.
Stephen Petty, 188 Pearl Ave.
I'm a landscaper. I did a little work in my backyard. I had no idea that I needed permits for. It was very minor, as far as I knew.
Thank you.
I just try to make the yard look better. I have some pictures I can show you guys. I planted some seed, put a bocce cord.
Yeah, why don't you do that, Michael? Show them.
Because this guardrail in the ground, I don't know that hole.
It's pilings. Sheet piling.
That was the wall.
Yeah, it's like a retaining wall.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah, why don't you put your mic on so we're broadcasting?
Yeah, I don't know, maybe he wants to walk around with us, but there are sheet pilings driven along, looks like the edge of, what's beyond these sheet pilings?
That was
It's,
the wall. So before you could see,
Yeah, Mr.
The pilings stick
Coloroso's
out.
owned the property
And I
for
just-
5 years. I believe those pilings were there
They were-
previous to that.
I
Sure,
want to take them out. I tried to take some out.
Yeah, if you're
I just put
going to
them
try and take them out, you should file with
Right,
us.
right.
Right.
I had no idea. So I just put rocks in front of it so that you can't see it from my house.
Right.
It looked terrible.
okay, sure.
I planted new grass. I put in a bocce court, just
Okay.
6x6s in the ground, and that's really about it. I didn't change the elevation. I just tried to make it
Doesn't
pretty.
look like
Yeah,
much of a disturbance to
yeah, I
me,
don't see
other
much of a
than-
disturbance that it's adverse to the environment on either property, yeah.
And I
you wanna-
just did a-
But I just wanted, yeah,
I got permits for everything. If I thought I needed one, I would.
yeah, so what I suggest you do is before any other work, besides cutting your grass, even putting a lawn in, you're required under the regulations to file for a permit. And you could do a filing similar to what these people did, request for termination of applicability if it's something small. If it's something more like taking the pilings out, then you've got to file for a notice of intent. It becomes more involved.
Yeah. Yeah, because where he abuts me, there's no problem with him being able to do any additional work if he needs to, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, like I said, it really depends what it is. Yeah, it could be a request for termination of applicability, like Keolis did and Mrs. Wunderlich did. It's not really affecting anything. If it's something major, like pulling the piles out, then you would need to file. So if you're thinking about doing that, you want to attempt to do that,
I actually tried, they wouldn't. I didn't know I said.
Yeah, you just, you have to know that in the future that you're in a resource area, at a minimal, you're in land subject to coastal storm flowage, which is, under
yeah, I don't know if
jurisdiction of the
any of you know
Wetland
that
Protection
area.
Act,
I grew
so.
up in that area,
Well, before the...
a couple blocks away. And the houses are up high from the
Oh,
creek.
yeah, we're well above the flood line. I I mean, the closest the water ever comes is to that first embankment.
Yeah, there are a couple of houses away from Beachmont Yacht Club, if you're familiar with the yacht club at all.
Matter of fact, it's a nice area, and we're trying to do the right thing, it's trying spring clean it up, look nice, and that's all we've been trying to do since he moved in. You know, he's beautified his property, you know, from the outside, the inside, and, you know, and it motivated me
Good.
to mow the lawn and keep up with my neighbor.
Okay.
And it's a good thing, you know.
Appreciate you showing up,
Yeah.
responding.
Well,
to
future
the
reference, like I
request.
say, me personally, work if I had done recently, whatever, I have gone through the proper, you know, chain of command as far as getting things done, permits, having things moved.
Yeah, sometimes the building department might be a little lax and telling them you gotta go to Concom. Other times, they say, we won't do anything. They get a little nervous about telling people to go ahead and do things, but
Exactly.
we're getting them to toe the line too.
All right,
All right, thanks again.
all right.
Thank you.
You want your pictures back? Okay, there you go, Michael. No, I don't need them. All right, no other business? Motion to adjourn?
Adjourn.
I'll second the motion to adjourn, and good
All
night,
those in
gentlemen.
favor? Any opposed? Adjourned at 7:22.